morning, everybody. Welcome and happy new week. Happy Monday. Hello, Andrew. Yeah, I like this music a whole lot better. So it's kind of got a jazzy feel. Now, in theory, my music should have just arced down quietly and has gone on to, just kind of good background music. If it gets too noisy, just give me a holler. I'm still working on this. What I made was a 2-hour-long MP3, which has opening credits music now, and then it thins down to a minus 25 decibel sort of background music for the next 2 hours and whatever, 21 minutes, I guess, 2 hours and 21 minutes. That way I can go 21 minutes over, I guess. Who knew? So, right? But I've always been kind of a fan of chill jazz. I love jazz. It's part of the Cajun in me, I guess. Although it is funny, the head of NDK, Amanda, she's from New Orleans, and I mean like New Orleans. And why, thank you. It even says Pikachu on it. She's from New Orleans, and she and I are the only ones who eat Cajun food all the time. And we're always talking about Cajun. And then we were talking about jazz the other day, and she was like, you like jazz, right? And I'm, oh yeah, Bourbon Street jazz. Perfect, right? And then she's like, great, but that smooth jazz stuff. And I'm like, I like the smooth jazz too. I'm just saying, it's good to work to. If you need to work, smooth jazz is awesome because it's calm and it's not obtrusive and it doesn't get into that kind of stuff. So anyway, yeah, Cajun food. There you go. Now we've come up with something. We should do a jazz and Cajun dinner. How many people can actually withstand that kind of heat, though? Ugh. Troy could. I know that my co-host from Geek Tank, Troy's also Deep South. Those of us from the Deep South who put hot sauce on everything. It's like a thing. I'm not even from Deep South. He's from Deep South. He's from Kentucky. I'm from Texas, so that's not Deep South. That's Texas, which Texas is Texas. Right? Right? Clears the sinuses out. Makes you feel so much better. Life is so much better. Okay. On the docket for today, we've got to work on Ron's pieces we're working on, so we'll do those. So we're going to do the silver pentacle, and we're going to be working there. I have these numbered improperly. Let's look at that. I almost had a panic attack here. I was like, oh no, I have lost the picture, but I didn't. It's still there. Okay, let's take up our concept board and bring it on over. We're going to work on this, so I'm going to go ahead and share the screen. Is it too loud, though? That's the question, Andrew. Is it too loud? Do I need to turn it down a little? Because if so, I'll make a note of that and bring it down. Because I like the music. I could actually make the entire thing jazzy. I think the guy that does the music on this is a guy named Kevin McLeod. McLeod? Maybe? Probably McLeod. But he does all of his. It's just stressful. For you, I will turn it down just a little bit for you so that you don't have to stress on it, because there's no reason to make it stressful for you. Oh, yeah. Maybe I'll pull that song. Impact. Xylophone cut. I wanted to put more like transition music, but I kind of understand it may not have worked as well. Excuse me. We're mowing again. I can hear the mowing out there, and that's driving my sinuses nuts. Speaking of Cajun food. Okay. I'm also going to open up Elio 2, which we had been working on before with this. We got in here on this and got into this drawing, but I'm going to use this template and just delete everything on all of these layers so we can use this at the same size, because this is already cued for the right size here. And then all I have to do is say save as, and I can save it as 003 and move along from here. This second concept here, we've got a very sad scene here, or whatever. It's not sad, I guess. We're moving on to Elio number 3. All right. So I'm going to copy that and put it in over here. And this just, oh, really? This is the way you're going to be. You weren't flattened out. Now I'll put this over here. Is that better, Andrew? Have we gotten better on the music? Over there. It'll get there about 30 seconds later. All right. And this piece here, oh, gotcha. We're in and mode. That's all right. As long as it is not obtrusive, we're good. Hey there, Raph. Raph's coming in on Twitch, looks like, which that helps a whole lot. Andrew over on Facebook, Raph, has been talking about the music being too loud. I've been trying to get my music adjusted correctly. So if the music gets obtrusive, just give me a holler. You should be able to hear it or something. Okay. So these are illustrations for a novel. So since they're illustrations for a novel and not comics, we tend to call them plates. And this is an archaic term that comes from back in the days when we used to print. We would put case letters in for printing. Okay, good. Raph says he can hear it. It's a little low, but he can hear it. Well, I turned it down because Andrew wasn't liking the xylophone music. So I'm going to turn it back up to where it's supposed to be here and tell me what it sounds, how it sounds. So now we're back at 0 level. What I was saying, Raph, was that over the weekend, I've made a 2-hour MP3 of royalty-free music that just runs. But I went on ahead and put it into Adobe Audition, and set up an opening song, which I liked. It's very jazzy, and I feel like I'm a very jazzy sort of folk, so I'm going to put jazz in there because I like jazz. I like jazz a lot. And then it should go down to minus 25 decibels for broadcast. So I'm hoping that it's not overwhelming. If it's too loud at minus 25, I'll drop it down to minus 30. So I was just saying, hey guys, I can't hear it because I don't want reverb going through my microphone, so I don't have it on, and so I can't actually audit my music. So you guys are just gonna have to tell me if it's too loud or too obtrusive. So that's cool. So you're still tweaking yours over there, Raph? Getting your music all squared away? Have you found Incomptech? Oh, hey, that's perfect. That's perfect. There, for you and your beloved wife, there's a website out there called Incomptech, INCOMPTECH, and it's a guy named Kevin MacLeod, and he just does royalty-free music specifically for what we're doing. That's what he does. So that's what he likes to do. I use so much of his music, I became a patron of his Patreon because I use his music all the time. So I use it with this, I use it on Geek Tank because there's no royalty, there's no copyright on it. So YouTube won't nail it, and neither will Facebook, and everybody will just leave it alone. Leave it alone. Leave my music alone. Alright, moving right along. So what we have here is a failure to communicate. No, wait. What we have here, I want to work on this. We've got our... Yeah. Here, let me see if I can't send it here. Doo-doo. If that goes out. Oh, let's see if that crashes my chat. That totally crashed my chat. That is not cool, people. Hang on. Yeah, I'm going to have to wait until I'm done streaming. Apparently, typing anything in here dumps the chat. Okay. That's all right. That's all right. That's not the way this show rolls anyway. So it's all right, buddy. I'll get you on the other side. Oh gosh. That's just my morning, huh? Okay. So I've already set up my sort of concept drawing here on this. What we've got our dude here, our hero, our protagonist, and he's comforting. Let's talk about the action line on this, right? The action line is kind of more like this. And we really want, like, the eyes to look down here, and her action line is going to be very much like this. She's crumpled over. So I really want, like, a C in the action line. Kind of move it around like this. And he should be more like this. So the idea here is I really kind of want to bring everything in. She's very upset. She's very sad. So we're going to move her shoulders in like this. We're going to move her hips like this. She's got her legs in that W that we're not supposed to sit in because it's so bad for her posture. But I don't think she cares because at this point in time she's just very sad, right? So moving the action line in crushes this picture down a lot and crushes her down and gives her the effect that she's crushed, which is sort of what's going on in the story. Right, so it's her calf. I'm very into action lines these days. Very, very into action lines. And she's putting her head in her hands like this. There we go. All right. So this is where we are with this. Going around here. up and over. Right? We've got our hands here like this. And they're coming, the hands will be aimed more at us from this point of view. Right? This, not this hand, but the other hand. Right, so we'll put her head, her neck, her shoulders, everything. She's just crushed. She's not a very big girl, so I'm trying to make her even look smaller. I mean, as a human, she's not big. So I want to make her even smaller looking here. So there we go. Bring that around. Bring her knee up more. And that. And as I clean this up, you can see the form of the character showing up and starting to evolve. Right? Occurs to me I'm not sure what she's wearing at this point in time. I'll have to go back and check the writing at some point, but here we go. So we're going through here, and all I'm doing is cleaning up my guides and making sure we've got everything here. So the problem is I have read a lot of books since the last time I read the instructions on this. So I'm concerned I'm going to forget what's going on. And I've forgotten what this scene was all about. And I might have to go back and quickly reread. Catch up on this Ilio. And her hands, when I look at her hands on this one, the palm's going to be like this. She's going to have fingers kind of like this, so that her face goes like this. Right? So when I look at the hand, I want to kind of look at the structure of where everything is going to be. Right? And that's going to be roughly what I'm after over here. I'm on the wrong brush. I can already tell. You know how I can tell? Because everything is not working. Or everything is just too sharp. Everything is too... I'm like, why is this not writing anything? What's going on? You're on the wrong layer. I'm not actually on the wrong layer. Here we go. Okay, moving right in here. Let's get more detailed. Right? We've got one finger, probably two fingers like this, and one finger like this. Fingers go like that. Just giving myself a rough as to where everything is. Our palm is there. I might go around like this. And then your thumb will be over here somewhere. Probably her finger isn't that big. Right. No, her thumb's on the outside. It's over here. That's why it looks weird. Now she's the six-fingered man. You killed my father. Prepare to die. Okay, because nothing is right until you make a Princess Bride joke. I have subtitles? Oh, whenever I do like really bad Spanish accents, I'm hoping that subtitled completely wrong then. That's all I've got to say. There are subtitles that are auto-populating. I feel like I should abuse this power. Oh, man, I feel like I really should. I feel like I should abuse it. I have subtitles. That's kind of cool. Okay, so moving right along. We're going to stress the hand now. So we're stressing the hand, which puts the fingers in like this, giving the bend in the joints there. Sometimes I think modern technology is a little scary. I mean, the fact that it's subtitling me real time. It's all good, Brent. Welcome to the show. Andrew has discovered that I'm apparently subtitleable. That you can hit mute and it'll subtitle me real time. And I'm not sure whether I should abuse this or not. That's the development we've had this morning. That and over on Twitch, we've got Raph, who's hanging out over there, and he's talking about house music for a DJ thing. So that's, we had jazz music for the opening credits, and now I have sort of a very, oh yeah, I'm sure it's only on Facebook, the subtitles, that is. I'm sure it's not out on Twitch. People on Twitch are not cool enough. So I'm sure that's totally what's going on. Okay. So, we're going to bend her hand back here from our point of view. She's just digging her heels into her eyes is effectively what's going on. The heel of her hand. The heel of her hand is going into her eyes. It's a common stress response for humans. They tend to stress out and do that. There we go, like this. Excellent. So, we're gonna. I did a little art class for a couple of kids this morning. First thing, some kind of they're a little bit they're homeschooled kids, so I do online art classes for them. And I was just talking about how much information artists have to really know. We have to know our anatomy, and we have to know a lot about how the human body moves and things like that. But cartoonists have a whole new set of skills we've got to learn. Because we've got to learn human psychology, and we have to learn how a body reacts to stress, how a body reacts to pain, and things like that. It's not just your straight up knowing your knowing your anatomy, because there's so much more to what we do as people. You have to know how people think. You have to get into their heads so that you can draw your characters. You have to be able to get into your characters' heads. You have to know what they're thinking. She's very upset. So her body language is crushed down. And it's very small. So this is where we are. Andrew, I am really curious how the subtitles are going to go here, and whether, it's saying that I'm talking about rabid pizza dogs, or, whether it's actually accurately modeling what I'm talking about, especially when I talk about anatomy and people. I'm sure that Facebook's having a hard time figuring out what I'm talking about. I am intrigued that it does subtitles. That just intrigues me. Truly fascinated. So when you don't have a client, give me a holler. Report in and tell me how the subtitles have been working. I think we're all fascinated by this. Okay. Now, her head is tilted. This is where the cross of the head would go. So we're going up and over like this, and across through like this, to give me my planes of my head. Here's her chin, right? So her ear is going to be like right here. Right? That's where her ear is going to be. And now we move into anatomy on this. Her hair is curly and very coarse. So I'm going to just give a lot of it like this. By character design, this is where we are with her. Right. Yo, welcome back, Raph. Did you disappear? Where did you go? Save real quick. 10,000 foot level. Let's take a look. You got to hit mute, David. Oh, you just walked away, Raph. That's okay. David, hit mute, and then it'll auto-populate captions live, real time. We're fascinated by this whole thing. What I find also interesting is down at the bottom, I have how many viewers I have on this show, and it says 2. But if I look here, I have Andrew, I have David, I have Brent, and I have Raph. Now, I'm not the world's best at math, but I think that's more than 2. I'm just saying. Now, I admit openly that I might not be the world's best at math. Okay. Now, I feel like her head is still too big. This is very... Actually, you know what? I feel like that hand is too big, too. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to do this. I'm going to... Right, like this. There we go. That's much better. So that technically makes 5, says Brent's technically over on Twitch as well. So that technically makes 5, which is why I'm fascinated by the fact that I have only 2 viewers on the watch. But I think that right when I know that I've got David, Brent, and you at least over on Facebook, which cracks me up. But I think if I look over here at my setup, I've got Yeah, see, on the destinations list, I've got 3 at my personal page, 3 on Twitch, and then 1 on GS Davis is what it's saying on the destinations. And somebody left. Somebody left me. They left me. I'm sad. Okay, so moving back over here, what I've done now is I brought her head down. I felt like it was too large, right? So let's attach everything again. And this looks a lot better as far as, you know, size and everything like that. So you've got this going on like this. Right? I don't know what she's wearing. I'm sure it's something important. But either way, we've got the belt. The belt helps define the fact that her hips are rotated. I'm noticing. Yep, that I'll bet you that back must be something related to Raph. I'm not sure what's going on, but Raph keeps vanishing and then coming back. It's funny and entertaining and makes me laugh. Not an uncommon occurrence for Raph. My friends, all of you guys are so unique. You guys make me smile. It's a good thing. Good thing. Since this is a Monday after all, we can't expect miracles out of Monday. If we get them, that's awesome, but we can't expect it. All right. Since these are ilios, and since they're for a book, these are plates, I kind of wanted to go on ahead and not use my 3D program until I'm further along in the concept and design process here. That's interesting, Brent. I don't know what that means, huh? Well, I mean, I know what that means. I wonder what the signal is on that. What that's where that's going. So once I get a better idea of where I want to go with this piece, so again, she's got coarse curly hair, dark black curly hair. So I'm kind of trying to get that, like a rough feel, like a more of an angled feel out of it. So we get more of a sort of a structure going on for her hair. That's what we're kind of after. More puff. Like I said, she's got hair like my niece, who the hair is all over the place with her. Just constantly trying to rally it back in and wrangle it. She ultimately cut it really short just because it drove her crazy. It was very funny. Just finally, she'd had enough. Here we go. I'm just trying to get kind of this in there. I feel like we'd have a finger here and like doing this, right? And she's wrapping. As I said, the heel of her hand is in her eyes. So, you know, if you look at the skull from the side view here, like this, right? She's putting the heel of her hand right here in this zone. So I look at the anatomy of this. We're going to have one finger like this, and another finger like this, and then the tip is going to be right on her forehead, like that. So and she's stressing, so this is going to come back like this. You know, look at like that. And that's really what we're going to be with that hand. And I've been wondering whether I shouldn't be broadcasting on Google+. I'm not sure if I can broadcast on Google+ with Restream. We'll have to see. But looking at this, the pressure is here, right? I'm looking at the structure. The pressure is here, and I really want to show that. Now, this hand could be wiping tears away, so the hand could be going this way, across the face. But kind of looking at where we are in the structure of this, that's where I'm after. That's what I'm after here. Very stressed out. She's not happy. She's having a bad day. The story. I really want to stress out this picture a lot. Right? Healing there. We can put this like this to indicate that that's happening. And then between these two, we've got her nose. It's going to kind of stick out right here. She's a little, not that much of a nose. There we go. All right. Well, now we're at level 2 of this drawing. And I feel like this is pretty good for holding and then getting to the point where I can understand what he's doing. She doesn't have a lot of muscle either. I'm not a muscly person. Right? Maybe a little bit more than that, though. I can give the fold of the arm and the elbow here. Alright, give her whatever pants she's wearing, which of course I've got to go back and look at the actual manuscript to find out what's going on in this scene again, because I've forgotten. It's been a long enough time that I've forgotten what's going on. There we go. She doesn't have a very large chest, so we don't want to have to go too big on that. We really want to give this arc, right? We want to show that her body is crumpled over. So I want to have as much space in here as I can get in this section right there. Really illustrate that we've got zone here, you know what I mean? There we go. We've got this zone that we can, this open zone which will give light to show she's really bent over, and I'm working hard on the anatomy to bring her over on this. The question also is this elbow. I kind of feel like this elbow needs to be further down as well. So there we go. There. Which is about true. might be a little... I think part of it is this is misleading. Let's say, how about that? That'll help you a whole lot there with that. There. That'll help. Genetics. Oh, wait. So, also I have a converging tangent down here, so I don't want to, I'm going to have to bring this up anyway, but you are right. Let's bring her elbow in a little bit more. I hate converging tangents. There we go. That looks a lot more like crumpled. Yeah, she's a belter. And, you know, Andrew, it's funny. If you think about how humans are, it's not necessarily that you have long anythings. It's that you're not as wide. And it's something that's like, huh? But it's absolutely true. It's our width, not our height. When you talk about, like, especially, this is especially true with women, because their thighs get wider as they get older. So when you have a young girl, you know, she's got very thin legs like this, which makes it look like she's very tall and coltish. And then as she grows up, the shoulders get a little bit wider and she gets a lot more hip, right? Thus, looking, instead of being, it makes her look like she's shorter. But it isn't, there's been no change in the actual bone structure under here since she was like 14 or 15 or 16, thereabouts. Nothing's really changed in here to make the structure any different. What's happened is she's gotten more muscle structure around the upper thigh, specifically the upper thigh, which gives her more of the hourglass figure that we see that's traditional for women. You get that more hourglass figure, but we also, but as far as like the structure itself inside here, it's all the same. So what really is happening is all of us sort of evolve the same way. Everything goes this way quick, and then we have to build in the muscle structure around everything that has expanded. So the muscle structure comes in later. So what's really happening with you, Andrew, is the same thing. You know, you've got your bones have grown out, and that was fine, and then you're still working on the muscle structure. And if you're like me, you're working on the fat structure too. Oh my. Anyway, I'm just saying. I'm not saying what I'm saying. I really need to stop eating cookies. That's what I need to do. But they're so tasty, those cookies. Wish that they made 0-calorie cookies, but they'd probably taste horrible. Oh well. My kid and I last night were talking about calorie counting and good calories versus bad calories, and it was he's very mathematical, so he really likes the math involved. Okay, now that I have done, but he's like, if I have 1,998 calories. What can I eat for 2 calories? And I'm like, no. No. That's not where we want to go. Okay, so let's talk about what's going on behind here. Kind of want to look at the doc and see what we've got on this page. So we're looking at Elio 2 on this. Let's bring this around. The book was written by Nancy Hansen, who she has been on the show once or twice, hanging out, just watching, and she's been lurking. What I'm going to do is look up I'm gonna look for Elio. Okay, so we got Elio 1, and there we go. Okay. Right? Humans are fascinating. I mean, like you could spend probably way too many hours so movement, we could spend like hours on this stuff. Okay, so I'm looking at the scene here is the scene is very intense. This is a very, very intense Brent is saying this is a horrible rabbit hole to go down, just like IP addressing for computers. Oh man. So I have like this entire thing about when my computer goes offline, about IP addresses and stuff like that. Not you, computer. It's a different computer. Thank you. But yeah, the scene we're in here about is shackles and chains. So I kind of feel like on this one, shackles and chains kind of moving on through here. Kind of want to put like a shackle here or something to illustrate where we are. We've got a scene. The scene is dramatic because there are shackles and chains, right? That's sort of where we are in the story. Yellow alert. Still haven't gotten yellow alert programmed in. I don't know. I mean, I guess I could turn everything yellow, but I don't know. We should figure that out. So. Okay. So, the specific information says Jordan said quietly as he sat down beside her. So I'm going to make him kneel. We're going to be caught in between. Yeah, actually, it's an absolute truth. Andrew? You're talking about evolution has lengthened our legs over the last 300 or so years. To answer your question there, upper arm compared to upper thigh, your fingers should end at about mid thigh. If that's true, you are well proportioned. And it's probably true of most of us. So if you extend your fingers out, they'll end at mid-thigh. In this case of our character here, she's bent over. So her torso is like this, and her hips are like this, and they're meeting here. If we look at the square design inside here, right? Her hips are here. Her torso is bent over. And her shoulder is rolled forward. So that's going to give this arm a lot more length. But her leg doesn't start until right here. Clothes give us a sort of a disproportionate look. And actually, now that I've done the guides, her leg should be here. But the distance between here and here is still not quite as bad as the distance from here to here. But I am glad we stopped here to do this, because now checking this, right? I checked my guides underneath, and sure enough, she should have a longer leg. Andrew was right on this. Good eye, Andrew. I like the fact that, we've gone through this evolutionary wormhole, which is very, very funny, to get this squared away, but still. I agree with you, Brent. We've gotten longer legs as a result of diet change as well. Our diet has strengthened our bone system and has gotten us a lot more muscle group. Okay, so now let's talk about Jordan. Jordan is kneeling down next to her. So his action line is going to be like this, with a bend here because he's going down on a knee, right through here. And this knee is going like this, right? But his action line is like this, and he's going to be... Where is he? What are we doing here? We are completely lost in his action line. I am completely lost on the action line here. Alright. We got 1 5, 1 5. He's kneeling down. Right? So we got a shoulder and a shoulder. One hand is right here on her shoulder. Puts that back here. And this over here, like that. So he's kneeling down to say, hey, it's okay. Do what you do. Do what you do, man. Do what you do. This looks scarier than I needed to. The pause here is because I'm having a hard time figuring out where I want to go with him. He's comforting her. He's not behind her. That's part of the problem. He's not behind her. He's in front of her. Like this. That's why we've got a problem. Because he's going to be right here, taking a knee down right here. Let's get our box for this, his hips. And the chest is right here. And again, just like we had with her, we have an action line going this way. Action line going this way. I'm going to put one arm out on her side, like this. And he's looking. This is what we were after. Right here. Right here. There we go. That's why we weren't getting anywhere with this picture. My muse is notorious for just simply making it wrong. It doesn't tell me why, it just says wrong. Sometimes my muse and I, we don't get along. He's just a jerk. Alright, I'll put this leg up. He has to get down quite a ways. She's not very big, so he's going to have to come down quite a ways for this. Here we go. So our arms and our legs, I mean, obviously, no two humans are exactly the same. We've got an awful lot of code to determine leg length, arm length, things like that. So, there's a whole lot of stuff that we do that is, we're all very different. So looking at the script here, I want to bring this back up. First of all, I've got to bring his arm on the other side of his leg. We don't actually put our arms inside the legs. It's uncomfortable. It's an uncomfortable way to bend down. You can do it, obviously. We're capable, but that's not what we do. It's not the natural operation of things. So I give this arm here like this. And then the knee is going to be on the inside. So I'm going to do this to give myself my knee. And I'm going to come back for his calf and shin. And then be through here for this. Like that. Much like that. Yep, I wouldn't worry too terrible much there, Andrew. Just makes you the target for all of us artists who will be like, ooh, can I draw you? That's all it really means. It's like every artist will be like, ooh, can I draw you? That's all you're going to get out of it. So, the only thing it means at all is just that your proportions are fascinating and interesting. It certainly doesn't make you any less of us. One of us. Good old human beings, all of us just the same as we always are. Weird and strange. Just like all of us. I'm going to put his knee down over here. So this knee needs to be more. You look at his hip, and we really kind of want more like this for this structure, going this way. So I'm going to put his leg going out like this. Kind of go like over here, like that. And this should give this a little bit more dynamics. We look at sort of the way that this drawing is going, right? We've got kind of a vanishing point over here. So we want kind of all of this stuff to kind of come out from this vanishing point in its own way. So even though I'm not necessarily, I don't have super dramatic perspective here. My perspective isn't that weird. Still want to make sure that I've kind of got this going the right way. I'm following in the line, the feeling, the kind of the concept going on here of where my artwork is going to follow on this. Let's get rid of some of these chains. The chains are great, but I want them on a different layer so I can move them. Man, there once was a time back in the day, guys, where I had to draw this all on real paper, and I wasn't able to just make a new layer. Wasn't that amazing? Isn't it amazing? Technology is great. My mom was pretty short, too. It's actually kind of funny. I tell stories all the time about how my mom had to learn, when she learned to drive, she had to learn to drive these huge trucks in, Nowheresville, Texas. And the trucks that she drove, they didn't have power steering or anything like that. So she was doing what us in the driving school call hooking the wheel. That's where you grab the wheel with a turned around arm, so you've got your knuckles facing the windshield, and then grab the upper part of the wheel to pull the wheel over as leverage. Well, as a driving school, we don't want you doing that, because it's not if the airbag deploys, your hand can't let go of the wheel fast enough, and so it snaps your arm. And since the airbag deploys in any accident over about 15 miles an hour, you could be in an accident that's really very mild and minor, and then you end up still going to the hospital because you broke your wrist or you broke your lower arm. So it's funny because I always hooked the wheel until I became a driving instructor, and then I learned not to do that. I had to learn to do that. That was kind of a thing. Anyway, don't hook the wheel, folks. It doesn't end well. There we go. But yeah, I find it funny how many stories we have that involve our moms. And Andrew, because you do watch Geek Take, your mom. There you go. I have your mommed you. Your mom. I know you watch Geek Take enough to understand that joke. Okay. Now I'm just fixing the anatomy here and kind of straightening it out. It might be so looking at the structure of this picture and looking at where we are, do I want her to hold maybe I want him holding something or putting something down. Yeah, I think I want him holding something. So let's go on ahead and, first of all, let's raise his shoulder up. I'm going to bring his shoulder up like this, right? Moving it across this body and structure here. We're going to put in the deltoid. And he's going to be putting down an object. Maybe that object is another one of these chains from this scene. He's just putting it down. There we go. These shackles. Putting down the shackles. There. There we go. Just like that. Speaking of bad proportions, let's talk a little bit about his proportions here. Right. There we go. Much more like it. There. Okay, so now he's putting his hand on her head to comfort her. Right here. It's a slightly bigger head. There we go. Bring that up. Clean this around here. Just get that cleaned up. Now I feel like his neck muscles need to be a little bit bigger. Moving into the trapezius. Through that structure there. Okay. I'm pretty happy with this rough design here. He's got some kind of bloused out. His pants should have bloused out a little too. Okay, I'm going to now merge these together to make one work. Okay. Gotta give the author props. This character does not, in fact, have long, flowing hair. I appreciate that. One here. Let's start working this structure here. Also, there's a lot of great stuff in this novel that I like a lot. I mean, kind of got a few little bits and pieces of the novel that are kind of, but I do like a lot of the structuring she did with her characters. Character building is difficult. To give more. There we go. More chin. I feel like originally I had his head tilted the other direction, but I actually feel like it needs to be tilted this way. Which means I'm going to do this with his eye. Alright. Give him more concern. He's not going to be, he's looking at her. There's not going to be a lot of eye we're going to be able to see here. Right? There we go. Got that under control. Ooh, doggy. We have a lot of things to control here. Again, I feel like the head's just a little too big. I don't know what it is with me. Bring it down just a hair, like to there. There we go. I haven't decided. One of the reasons why we're not finishing these pieces off is that I haven't actually decided where all of this stuff goes, right? I don't know what he looks like, really. I know a little bit more about what she looks like because at least I have an image in my head that fits her, but I'm having a hard time settling in on an image that I like for him. So there's a little bit of that going on here. There we go. Okay. All these structures up here. It's easier to draw people effectively naked and then import clothes later once I figure out what clothes they're wearing. I mean, you don't have to actually make them truly naked, but like, he's wearing a nondescript shirt and nondescript pants, and she's wearing a nondescript shirt and you know what I mean? It's like, it's easier to start there. Then whenever I go and figure out what clothes they're wearing in the previous Elio, then I can match it here, right? So, I'm feeling really good about this particular illustration. Illustration 3. At least we're at a good set point here. Kind of want his line to go this way. Outside edge sort of stuff going on. There we go. Excellent. Okay, now we're here doing this. We're doing it, man. We're doing this thing. We're getting it done. Getting it done. Production art is not a fast or glorious job. One line defines everything. Now, the rest of this picture is specifically black because this is very depressed and sad and not pleasant, right? So I'm going to go through here with my watercolor brush and just actually make my size bigger. Right, I'm just going to go through here and do this. And what this is going to do is just give a pattern of dark. There we go. Just like this. We're giving a real pattern of darkness through here. Which frames the characters very well. And just makes it so that you get the feeling of just isolation and darkness. And that's what we're after here. This is a dark scene. So very dark. This is a bad time for our protagonist. She's not having a good day. Right, so right here we've got kind of... Ooh, that's not what I wanted. Too close. So we'll put that through there and right through there, and like that. And what we've got now is we've got, it just makes it look dark and kind of sad. this pattern of dark in here. I'll just make sure it stays really dark in the center. It can get undark at the edge, but in this center core, it's got to be pretty dark. Right. So now this is level 2 for this drawing. Coming in on level 2. There we go. Now it looks like I took an ink brush in here and really just hit it hard with the ink brush, man. It looks rough. There we go. Okay. This is where we're going to go with this layer 2 function. You're going to do that. You're going to freak out. That's what you got to do. Do what you do. Right? Okay, so we're at sort of the second level for this Helio. This plate and so we've kind of got we're gonna probably put a kibosh on it right now and stop it for a moment. I'm gonna save this. Because the next one's this one, and I feel like I really kind of want to look back over what's going on here on this particular one. Yeah, this one looks like this is a little bit more, I may have to redraw it. I mean, like, as in, the angle may not be right for this thing. I have to see. So I don't want to mess with that at this moment. We'll have to see whether that fits. Let's go somewhere else. Let's back out and take a look real quickly at where we are on Fred's. All right, let's take a look at where we are with Fred on our instructions here. Instructions. Lead or you will be removed. Relieved, you will be relieved. Lead, or you will be relieved. I may have played way too many Protoss in my day. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. We've got only a handful of minutes left, so I kind of want to go back and revisit. We only have about 30 minutes left on the show, so I want to kind of visit the something simple, something easy, something. Why does this take so long for me to right mouse click on something? I probably shouldn't sing while I've got music playing, should I? Open with Adobe PestaShop. There we go. We'll put in the black boxes. The black boxes. I've actually not had any complaints about this necessarily, but I want to go ahead and make sure I'm doing it anyway. Share screen. Okay. This pen will not help me. All right. So this object up here, let's take a look at it. This guy is sitting right here, just being who he is. Too thick. Let's put this down to about 10. At this, it's the edge of the desk, right there. Hard lines. Comic ink, but I don't need it that big, like here. Ooh, that's too small. Oh, probably about 10-ish would be good. Okay, so I'm gonna go through here, and all I'm doing is just kind of smoothing that out, right? Got this cup of coffee right here. I'll come back in and fix it. So this mug. One of the things that was really discussed when I did Afterworlds or when we started talking about Afterworlds, was the idea that a lot of this is going to be very contemporary. Got a lot of weird technology, and so with the weird technology, you kind of want to have contemporary stuff, you know. Offsets it, makes for an interesting dynamic. It makes it, you know, accessible. A lot of this is so strange and weird, so it makes it accessible. So I'm going to bring this guy down too, because he's a little large. Can't really trim down from there. There we go. Coffee in here. Whee! Look at the coffee. Just about like that. There we go. World's okayest dad. I think that's good. Okay. Let's add some dynamic to this. And we're coming around here. We're gonna want to make sure that the strap is up and moving a little. You don't want it to be falling over. There we go. I'm going ahead and color this in like this. It's a shadow. Here, we've got kind of these straps that are going up and over, are holding these things in. He's the okayest dad. I mean, you know, he's not the best, he's not the worst, he's just okay. He's okay. He's the okayest bandana. Sometimes I have days where I feel like I am most definitely an okay dad. Not the best, not the worst. And days like that a lot. There's 2 straps on these guys, holding these guys in. There we go. So we got these 2 straps holding these guys in like this. Right, and this goes like this. Comes out a little bit like that. And he's got a snap as well. Go. These are crystals of some sort. So we're going to go on ahead and give the crystals their uniquely crystal shape. Put in the stitching here for this. There we go. The crystals do a cool thing with light. So we're going to have this side like that. Same thing over here. Like that. Give a shine inside so that it's got some light on the inside of this guy. And like this. There we go. Perfect. Moving around the side of this guy. Do this one, which I feel like is actually this one sitting out here. So I'm going to put the strap in and leave it open. It's just hanging out here. Whatever he's doing, he's got this guy over here. Like this, so he's swapping him out, or these are batteries of some sort, like magic batteries in the game. So I'm just going to go on ahead and act like there's no crystal here. There we go. that stitching. Along there. We're going to be on this crystal. We're going to come up and over and up and over, just like that. And this guy actually has a crystal in him. Just like this. Put the arc over this guy. He sticks out there. Okay, then we go this way, and this is indicating sort of a fold in the fabric, which isn't fabric. I assume this is some kind of leather thing. Give this a little bit of a raise like that. On this side's going to do that. There we go. Looks kind of like a finger out there. Yeah. Alright. Come around like so. Okay. Up and around. And through from down here. I have to go back and fix that crystal, because that crystal just plain sucks. I mean, really. Come on, people. You can do better than this. I can do better than this in my sleep. Yeah. I'm not that big. So now we're just going back through here. And I'm just cleaning this up, right? Because I really want to clean this up. Or people. Cleaning up all the people. All these people here in this picture. A ton of people in this picture. You just can't see them. They're all hidden. The okayest people in the entire game are in this picture. World's okayest people. Now, I have a Macross 7 song in my head. Basara song. And so I have been singing it this entire time, and that's where you're getting it singing in my head. So, I actually kind of feel like I like this without that. There we go. The facet of this is different. There we go. I also feel like, how would you know which one was which? Right? How would you know which one of these was which crystalline? If you get the blue one with the orange trim, or the orange one with the blue trim, or, I mean, gosh, it seems like there'd be all kinds of stuff you would have problems with if you didn't mark them in some way. So I'm kind of going through here, and I'm going to mark all these guys. I mean, sure, I'm sure that, well, that one gives off chartreuse energy, and this one gives off lavender energy, and that one gives off feel of Argentina in springtime. But, really, you should mark them. Just mark them, guys. Mark your crystals. This is a PSA for you. Your crystals. Bring that in. All right. And now we have this all very straightened out like that. Drawing by itself. There we go. Good. Just like that. Alrighty. Beautiful. noticing a flaw with my undo versus my space keys over here. My undo is routinely I'm hitting my undo button. I really mean to hit space. Like that is a flaw. Space key down to another row. I think it might want to go on a new key. Okay, coming back around here, all I'm doing is just giving some highlight and shadow, dramatic highlight and shadow to this, so that you can see it. Okay. This is doing is giving some drama to those crystals, right? Drama llama to the crystals. Drama to the crystals. I am on a firebomber kick today. I don't know my problems. Seriously, on a firebomber kick. Yeah, well, whoever that is going to have to wait. I give 10 to 1 odds that the person calling is my wife, who has, once again, forgotten another podcasting. There we go. So I'm feeling like this one's pretty good. We've got some crystals sitting out here. I feel kind of like I want to distort this a little. And, go through here and transform. Just do a little bit of distort. Really? Here, let's try it again. Transform, distort. He's kind of sitting out here by himself, kind of hanging, right? Much better. Yeah, I like it too. I do want to do what I was talking about, right? There we go. So that's the wrap it around your arm and have a whole bunch of crystals thing with the world's okayest dad. Give myself some steam off of here. familiar with Firebomber. That's the group from Macross 7. Every Macross has a singing group, obviously, because it's part of Macross. Which I'm sure just irritates the heck out of anybody who gets into the Macross what's-its. But that's always a thing with Macross, is that there's a singing He's calling in the middle of my broadcast to say, are you ready to go to lunch? Which is fine, except that you're not ready to go to lunch. I'm still on my broadcast. No, that's my papa calling. And everybody calling. I'll figure it out. Okay. You're all going to have to wait. Nobody realizes that I am on until 12 o'clock. So we're just going to finish this up, and it won't matter. We're almost done here. We're just going to go in here and do this. I'm just getting some steaming coffee going on here. That sounds good, actually. There we go. And that. And straighten this up a little. And the eraser. Go bleep, 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 like that. Anyway. Hope my child's not killing himself. You hear crashes and bangs. What in the world's going on? He's still singing, so he's not dead. That's how you know your child's still alive, is if they're still singing. Alright. There we go. We got one of them down. It's today's job. Alright, guys. That puts us at pretty much the end of the show. And that's a good question. What is tomorrow's schedule? I'm going to work a little bit more on Bellatrix Rising. I think I'm going to try to do every other day commission work and work on the comic. So tomorrow we should see a little bit more of how we're going to work with the characters from Bellatrix Rising. So we're going to work on that. Sounds like a plan. That sounds like a plan. So, appreciate all of you guys hanging with me today. That's very cool. We got a couple of good pieces together today. Worked pretty well. I'm liking it. I've also got like cool lighting going behind me. Notice the blue and the green. And the green makes it much cooler. I have this. I actually set up my timer so that it's timed so that the lights change, about 10 minutes before show. Because this is a really bright light. It's very hard to look straight into. So there's that. I'm getting there. It's getting slowly together, but since we're going to be here every day from 10 to 12 anyway, might as well do it right. That's my thought. So, again, I appreciate all of you guys hanging with me this for these 2 hours today. I hope to see you all tomorrow. And have a great, awesome day. Because like totally has an awesome day. And I'll talk to you later.